everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady coming to you from sunny, warm, central North Carolina, Zone 7. To celebrate the start of March, I'd like to take you on a special garden tour showcasing all the beautiful plants that are in bloom. But I also want to take some notes on all the things that I have to accomplish as the days keep getting longer and spring officially arrives. So let's go on a tour together. To get this video started, here is Hamamelis intermedia Arnold's Promise. And this is a wonderful hybrid witch hazel. It was introduced by the Arnold Arboretum out of Massachusetts. And these wonderful flowers smell like lemon pledge, which is one of my favorite scents of all time. I love to cut these now, bring them inside to enjoy in colorful, fragrant flower arrangements. The start of March is really full of brilliant color. You can see that is a nice double form hellebore, crimson candles, camellia behind it, full bloom. What I love about this is that I can see it from my kitchen window. And then behind that crimson candles is one of the best plants to grow in the southeast. This is Edgeworthia chrysantha, the fragrant paper bush. And these blooms have just started to open. Another awesome plant that's showing off for the beginning of March is Jasminum nudiflorum. And beware when you plant this because it has a colonizing or suckering habit. And it can grow kind of wild. I mean, look at it here, growing way up into its neighbor, this Osmanthus fragrans variety Aurantiathus. But I don't care. I think it's a charming plant. It's very low maintenance. Now that it's established, I never irrigate it. And you just can't beat this color at this time of year. This cute pussy willow, Salix Mount Aso, has really just burst into bloom. Again, these are some favorite branches to bring inside and use in cut flower arrangements. There's just nothing quite more spring-like than the sweet little blooms of a pussy willow. I've mentioned using various branches as cut flowers for indoor arrangements. I thought I would show you what I've created this week. The house smells divine from the combination of the Hamamelis and the Edgeworthia, and I can't help but smile when I see that sweet little pussy willow. One of my signature plants for this season are the Prunus mumes, and I just can't say enough about how wonderful these trees are. This is a variety called Josephine, which is a soft pink, almost white bloom, and the honeybees are going nuts, gathering nectar from all of these flowers. This is definitely the time of year where I have neighbors asking me what are the cotton candy trees growing in my garden. And of course, those are Prunus mumes. You see Josephine over there, Matsuboro red in that corner. And this beautiful pink form is a variety from Camellia forest called Pink Panther. And for me, this is always the last one to bloom. So it really helps extend that season well through the month of March, providing bees with more nectar than they know what to do with. I have yet to sit down and enjoy the view from this hammock, but I like thinking that I will eventually. But the bridal veil Prunus mume is looking absolutely spectacular, covered in honeybees gathering nectar. More impressive is this bonita that's been blooming for about 6 weeks, and it's definitely finishing, but for a plant that really just lets you know that spring is on its way, you cannot beat Prunus mumes. So how is the grain bed doing? It's growing pretty well. A few more warm days and it would really start to jump. I think I am going to go ahead and apply some plant tone to this bed just to make sure that everything has all the nutrients it needs to be able to flourish as the days start really getting longer. I see a lot of larkspur germinating in here, not so many poppies, but I'll keep my fingers crossed that a few end up coming up. Ultimately, I think this bed is going to be spectacular in May. I am getting ready to go into full gear with vegetable growing. I'm really excited to still see some broccoli growing here. These are my 100-gallon root pouches filled with soil cube. They've done great now for a solid year, and the productivity in these is just remarkable. Can you believe that I've been harvesting arugula almost every single day and I still have this much left? That's what I love about arugula. The great thing is you can let it go to flower and ultimately go to seed, and it will self-sow, and you can harvest the foliage the entire time. So the ranunculus brazen hussy has started to bloom. A lot of people call this invasive. My solution is really simple. I just come through and I pluck the flowers off, and I use these in floating flower arrangements. That way it doesn't have the ability to seed around. So that's an easy solution for a plant that can sometimes overrun its space. Speaking of floating arrangements, there's an abundance of flowers in the garden to harvest now. This one is especially magical, the fragrance from all these Edgeworthias. Witch hazel is also a great addition, along with hellebores and violas. And much like the ranunculus, I find that my hellebores can be a little seedy, so my solution is simple. Just pluck the flowers off and enjoy them in a floating arrangement. That way you won't have any self-sowing in the long run. I've been doing some fun experiments with growing potatoes in these Caveen grow bags that have these, plastic inserts so you can actually see what's going on down in the root zone. The productivity of these is really off the charts. I can't believe how much they've grown. These are planted in straight soil cube organic compost, and I have a feeling that really by May or June I'm going to be harvesting a lot of potatoes out of these 2 grow bags. Of course, seed sowing is high on the priority list now that March is here. I've got some broccoli started in these pots, and I've got some kohlrabi just starting to germinate here. I use soil cube organic compost as my straight mix. I don't mix it with anything else. I just fill my trays with soil cube, and I direct seed in that, and everything grows out really, really well. As these get a little bigger, I will give them a fertilizer treatment with some fish emulsion. Overall, everything in the garden is really coming to life and starting to grow quickly. I love this Ms. America mustard. It's the first time I've grown this variety, and it is just so dynamic, and it's looked great all winter. I'm thrilled to see the tulips poking up. It shouldn't be too long before I have bouquets of tulip flowers. I'm really pleased with how great all of my winter interest containers look. Those are of course planted in directly soil cube. Same thing with the live wall, that's just straight soil cube organic compost, and everything just thrives in that. No fertilizer, very little watering. All of these containers just do great. Now, that is a lot of garlic. That's what my friend who visited today said. But it's doing its job. It's preventing the voles from going into this bed. It's helping deter rabbits who would normally come in and eat a lot of this barley. And I just think it looks great. It's going to be easy to harvest. On the other side of this sidewalk, I've gotten some new broccoli plants in, and a video that I posted earlier this week of this area that I've kind of finally done the final installation, at least for this season, to kind of transition this foundation bed from being an overgrown area of conifers to being more light and airy and accessible. Now onto the to-do list. The top of that list is get all of the old hellebore foliage cut down. I aim to get this accomplished today. I'm also making it a mission to get all of the plants that I've been buying into the ground instead of letting them sit around for weeks and weeks. So my step always is to first layer some soil cube organic compost down and then get these things planted. That is my ultimate goal for 2021, is to not have a greenhouse full of plants waiting to go in the ground. Just to hold myself accountable, this is what I have currently in my greenhouse that I need to find room for out in the garden and get it planted. I hope when I check back in with you, my greenhouse is empty, or rather it's full of spring seeds that have been sown. The chore that no one likes but has to get done is weeding. I've started weeding in quite a few of these beds. Because we've been so wet, it's really easy. This is definitely a hands-on experience. You see here, you have to really know your plants to do it well. So this is a weed, this is vetch, but all of this is larkspur. You know, this is a weed, here. More of that, here. Here's a weed, lamium, already flowering. So I need to spend some time in this bed getting it cleared out so that there's room for the good plants and all the bad plants come out. Now my recommendation for once you have a space weeded is to go ahead and sow some cool season seeds, things like lettuce or arugula, kale, mustard, and fill this area up with the plant you actually want. It's as simple as literally just shaking the seeds out over the open area that you just weeded. This will really help prevent non-desirable plants from being able to settle in and take over. So what about mulch? Well, I have a hankering for mulching, and unfortunately it's just been too wet to get my trailer out to be able to go and buy mulch from the supplier. So I have been getting a few bags here and there of ground aged pine bark sold as soil conditioner, and I've just been top dressing it in specific areas where I have plants that like acidity. I think the number one thing on everyone's to-do list this spring needs to just be take a step back and enjoy your garden for all of the beauty that it provides. As a gardener, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed in the spring. There's so much to accomplish and seemingly so little time. But I want to remind you that it's equally important to go outside, grab your favorite beverage, and just stroll around and enjoy all of the fruits of your labor. Remember that this to-do list is ongoing and you're never really going to accomplish everything. Recognize that your garden will always need you. So until next time, I wish you the very best in the garden, and as always, thanks for watching.